Welcome to Bavarian Motorworks. Completely different video this time. I'm going to show you how to correctly install ISTA and INPA and get them both working. I've seen other videos out there, but it doesn't explain really how to get them both working, especially ISTA, for example. You can still configure it with the right info you have to put in the notepad files, but still it might not work. Still it might come up with the horrid active pad error. So I'm going to show you how I've done it. Now I can't tell you where to download the software from, so I'm going to install the software that I've got. You also might need the drivers for the cable, but let's get the software installed first. So I'm going to start with the INPA. INPA doesn't really need much configuration. It pretty much, you just install it and you can use it straight away pretty much, as long as you've got the drivers installed for the cable. So let this install. Okay, we'll just go next. Oh, install. Should play some music here, really. Yeah, okay, yes. We want to give permission to install. Got big new files. It's going to take its time. Should play a nice tune for you. Maybe I should sing perhaps, but no, you don't want to hear me singing. It's nearly there. It doesn't take too long. As you can see, it's already there. And then with this installation, it will bring up this DP inst. So let's say yes to that. So let's get that off. Finish. And when you go next, it's going to try and install some drivers. It will fail. Okay. Fair enough, that's failed. So what you have to do is download some other drivers that will work, and they are here. So if you just search for CDM 2122364, it should come up. But I'll link these drivers. I can link these ones. So if you do an extract, do a next, accept, next, and as you see, it's worked this time. So finish that right. So INPA's installed now, so let's go to the installation directory of INPA, because we have to do some configuration. So we need to go to the EDIA ABAS file folder, and then we have to go to bin, and then within bin you will see where it says EDIA ABAS. Open that. It's got to make sure that's reading that there. So interface needs to be equals std : obd. So that's okay. The next thing we need to check is the OBD file. Open that, and this is important, it will work. So when we come to set the cable, we need to set the cable on COM1, and it should work. Sometimes I've had to set it on COM9 to get it to work, but I'll show you after I've installed ISTA. So let's install ISTA, and then we'll come back to the configuration. So let's open up ISTA standalone installer. So, to get ISTA to work, I found you can't have it on the same drive. It doesn't work. I think possibly you could change the folder name for it to work, but I didn't try that. You could possibly do that, but I've kept them separate, so I'm going to put ISTA on a different drive, on a different hard drive. Oh, hang on. I forgot what drive name it is now. Oh, it's E. So I'm going to put E on a fresh drive, hard drive, which is E. So let's all look at all this here. Yeah, I would install the Visual C redistributable as well. So let's go next. Set this to IDIABAS default settings. Create shortcut. Go next. And it'll start installing. It will take a little bit of time, so I'm going to cut the video here and then we'll come back to when it's finished. Okay, the installation is finished, so we click finish, and now what we have to do is we need to configure ISTA. Now ISTA has its own IDIABAS file, and that's what we have to configure. So we go to EC apps, ISTA, IDIABAS, bin, and then in here we have the IDIABAS. Now you'll see where it says interface equals remote. We need to change that to std:// OBD. Then we save. And that's all we need to do for ISTA. So now let's configure the cable. So you need to go to Device Manager. So as you can see, the cable's not plugged in yet. Find my cable here. One important thing you're going to do on the cable, oh, I don't know if you can see that, probably not. You'll get a switch on the cable, so you need to switch the cable. What am I saying? You need to move the switch on the cable to the left. So let's plug the cable into the USB, and you should see it appear. So there you go. So it's already set to COM1. So we'll open up the port. We'll go to port settings, advanced, and all we've got to check is that it's on COM1, or whichever one you choose, it should be fine, but normally I find it works on COM1 and COM9. So in this case COM1, and also the latency timer you need to set to 1. Everything else is as it is. So let's go to INPA's OBD file, because we need to make sure that matches. So IDIABAS bin, OBD. So there you go. Port equals COM1, and latency timer 1. That's fine. That should work now. So we just click OK on that. And OK on that. And basically now we just need to test it, which we'll do next. A good thing to remember, an important point, is to install the cable drivers first. Install them. Install the drivers that I mentioned, that I'll put in the link below. Install those before you start the ISTA installation. I found it works better that way. So again, when you start installing INPA, as you saw, the installation for the cable drivers failed, and I had to find other drivers to get them to install. So always install the cable drivers before you install ISTA. So let's go and test it. Okay, it's finally installed. Now we need to test it. So the cable, make sure this switch is to the left. So let's plug the cable into the OBD port. In case you're wondering what that is, it's my dog sneezing. Anyway, it's gone now. Right. So the cable's in. Now what we need to do, so as far as INPA works, it's connected. I'll switch the ignition on, that'll turn to black as well, so that's all good. Let's quit that. Now what we want to test is ISTA. Read out basic complete identification. And you'll see it. I'm pointing my camera down because I don't want to show my VIN, so I've covered it. And that's it. That proves that it's live and working. And that's it. If you've got any questions, or if you've got any problems with ISTA installation or INPA, just send me either an email or comment down below. Please like and subscribe. It really does help me a lot in knowing the fact that this is actually helping people out, because that's the main aim of these videos. Thank you very much, and I'll see you again.